what you are excited by, what you are interested in, what you are inspired with, what you truly desire. In that contains so much passion, so much energy, so much motivation, so much attention to detail, quality. You will find and tap into unbelievable reservoirs of patience, of perseverance, of persistence, right? Of presence, of all these beautiful qualities that are going to be infused in the work that you do. When it's absolutely uncompromising and unapologetically true to your desire. And then when the right people see that, they'll feel it on a level that will be unbelievably, utterly spiritual. Underneath everything that you're doing is the quality of yourself that you're bringing. It's the intention. How you do one thing is how you do anything. And how you do anything, that is what you're sharing. That is what you're bringing. That's what you're emanating, right? And in that sense, you can be the greatest spiritual teacher. You can be the greatest, brightest light in the world. You can be the most inspiring person, and you can be the cashier at your grocery store, or you can work at the deli, or you can sweep the streets, right? It's not about what you do. It's about how you do what you do. Now, obviously, I recognize that the reason why you guys are here is because on some level you're a creator, a visionary, an artist, an entrepreneur. You do have greater aspirations than simply just a typical 9 to 5 environment. But I just want to make that distinction that what matters so much more than what you do. It's how you do what you do. And even if you're doing exactly what it is that you want to do, but you're not doing it fully, and you're not fully bringing yourself to it, and it's not fully in alignment, then you might as well be working at the deli. Again, I'm making it a little bit extreme, but I think you understand my point. It's so easy to get hung up on I'm doing something that is good. I am doing something spiritual, right? But it's much more subtle than that. You could just be smiling at somebody on the street and it can be the most profound thing that you do. And it can spark and ignite a feeling in the other person that has them remember something about themselves. And that can be the most spiritual thing that you do in your entire life. And you completely overlook it. And then you think something that you created next week is the most profound thing I've ever done. You don't know. But the quality of yourself that you bring to what you do, that is what is the spiritual kind of essential, energetic, vibrational conveyance, transmission. And this is truly what I mean when I talk about brand or story. Everyone's experience of the brand they love is different. So for example, if I'm an Apple fanboy, or if I love Marvel movies and I meet somebody else who loves Apple or Marvel movies, well, we have that shared, common thread. But your experience of Marvel movies or Apple, the feeling that you have is different, right? You're like, oh, well, I love this part of the product, or I love this character in the movie, and this is what it made me feel. And it's, oh, that's so interesting because that's not what it did for me, right? I loved this character, and this is how it made me feel. We have our own utterly unique experience of the same thing, and we share the love and the passion and the joy for that, but we have our own authentic experience of it. So that's the part of the brand or the story that once you create it and share it, it's completely out of your control. And that's the beautiful thing, is that everyone gets to relate to it and interact with it in their own way. It has their own meaning. They make their own meaning. We're all makers of our own meaning. If you're interested in joining a masterclass on this topic of storytelling, of branding, of bringing your creative, authentic expression to the world and getting paid to exist by doing so, comment manifest down below and I'll send you more information about an upcoming workshop. And so this is where I want to kind of level the playing field again in terms of, in essence, when you have that perspective, everything is utterly spiritual, utterly meaningful, utterly profound. And so then nothing is off limits to you in terms of what you want to create, in terms of who you want to be, in terms of what you want to share, in terms of what you want to say, right? And so as an example, I have always loved cars, beautiful cars. And I went through a phase where I kind of made that wrong. And I made myself wrong for liking cars, kind of this spiritual phase where I thought, well, that's superficial and it's materialistic and also like the carbon footprint and all this stuff. So just suppress that part of yourself because it's not spiritual. It's not good. It's not right. You shouldn't like these things. But in my heart, it was something I loved. It was a passion, right? And so anyway, I've kind of come back around on this desire, on this passion, and I've embraced my love of cars again. And I've discovered this company, which is so inspiring to me. The company is called Singer, and they're a car company out of California. They have a very unique brand where the founder and the creator has a love for 60s and 70s and kind of early 80s Porsche 911s. And if you're familiar with Porsche 911s, it's a very, very unique, distinct car, very famous car. It's a very defining vehicle. It started with the founder who, for the love of this car, took this old kind of falling apart, 60s or early 70s 911, and he fully restored it. And he not only restored it, but he completely reimagined it. And so he did this in his own unique, authentic way. And other people started coming to him. Whatever you did here, I love it. And I want to do something similar. How would I do this? So he started doing it for more people. And this was like 15 years ago. So fast forward 15 years, and now this company, which they started doing it for many people, and they were outsourcing a lot of their painting and engineering and fabricating and all this stuff. They now do it all in-house. And now they've worked with hundreds of different people restoring these 70s, 80s, Porsches. And it's an unbelievably inspiring and bespoke experience where in this kind of Willy Wonka factory where they bring these cars in and they strip them, completely strip them, and they rebuild them. Carbon fiber, every thread, every detail, every color, every texture is in conjunction with the client. And so they're literally bringing from their imagination into reality this vehicle, right? And so not only that is just so wonderful and creative and inspiring and playful, but also their kind of motto is everything matters. Every detail matters. So then the level of intention and the quality of intention, the specialty and the standard, and then everyone's passion and unique talent along the way, it's all amounting to this beautiful, wonderful product at the end, which many people who don't appreciate cars would just be like, oh, that's just an expensive car. But at the end of that process, the amount of love and joy and creativity that's been invested into this process, which takes months and months. In fact, even to get the opportunity to do this, it takes years. If you wanted to do it, you'd have to be on a wait list for 2 years. So the whole experience is so intentional. It's so exclusive. It's so luxurious. It's so the quality, the connection, the creativity, the co-creative aspect of it. Everyone in that factory is the best at what they do, and they love what they do. And so they show up every day in their passion, in their joy, bringing the finest quality of their attention and their intention to what they're doing. And at the end of this whole process, you see this beautiful, shiny automobile, but there's so much more to it than that, right? Because again, like how you do anything is how you do everything. And it's not what you do that matters, it's how you do it. So then to some people, to the untrained eye, this is just, a beautiful, expensive sports car. But to the people who appreciate what it is, and in fact, I would assert that everyone in some way, on some level, recognizes the quality of this. And then that's inspiring. And to me, that's spiritual. The intentionality, the level of consciousness that's brought into this experience, the uniqueness, the authenticity, the creativity, all of which is being infused into this product. And it's so much more than a product because it's also the experience of designing the product with the client. This experience, which really everything is. When you watch my videos on YouTube or when you watch anyone's videos, or when you read a book, or when you watch a movie, or when you read a story, or when you go to your local cafe, or when you go to the store and you're at the grocery store, or whatever it is, when you buy a new phone, all of these experiences, you're drawn to them for a certain reason. What's that reason? Why are you drawn to this thing over this thing? What is it about that you love? How did they craft it? Right? What's the backstory? What's the intention? What's the energetic transmission? There's so much depth to all these things. And then we write them off with a simple kind of superficial kind of label of what it is. But when you go deep into what it really is, you can feel so much of what's been infused into it. Now, this is what we all get to do. when you are deliberate and conscious and intentional with every aspect of what you're doing. So it's not just something that comes out of your mouth. It's not just something that gets thrown onto the canvas. When you are that conscious and that intentional with the whole thing, this is what I'm referring to when I talk about this compass or this North Star, because it is the vision of this company singer and the values, right? And the promise and the positioning and the purpose and all of these elements of this brand that have been architected, right? They've been designed, they've been consciously, intentionally articulated such that when they hire someone, it's through this lens of the brand that they hire someone. When they make a choice in terms of what material to use, it's through the lens of this brand that they do that. And it's the same with you. This brand of you, the story of you, the concept of you, which is a kind of construct of the vision that you have, the values that you hold, the promise that you have, the purpose that you feel. All of these things, they go beyond just a company. They are you are the embodiment of this. The question is, are they conscious and are they intentional? And the more you bring that conscious intentionality to it, the more that will become a compass that will craft you just as much as you craft it. This brand becomes its own kind of entity, which then the more you invest your attention, intention, energy into it, the more it becomes something that lives on. It becomes a legend. It becomes a legacy. What you are excited by, what you are interested in, what you are inspired with, what you truly desire, in that contains so much passion, so much energy, so much motivation, so much attention to detail, quality. You will find and tap into unbelievable reservoirs of patience, of perseverance, of persistence, right? Of presence, of all these beautiful qualities that are going to be infused in the work that you do. When it's absolutely uncompromising and unapologetically true to your desire. And then when the right people see that, they'll feel it on a level that will be unbelievably, utterly spiritual. Even if on the surface it looks to the untrained eye as something that could never be spiritual. I'm using the term spirituality, but I just mean meaningful, purposeful, impactful, emotional. And when we look at it through this lens, you really see that the experience of even something seemingly as materialistic and as superficial as sitting behind a beautiful, fast sports car can be evoking and inspiring a feeling within you that then can inspire a remembering, an awakening of who you are, which is then seemingly not within the kind of typical conventional realm of a spiritual teaching, which then has you feeling and believing in a different way, which then leads you to act in a different way, which is utterly spiritual. So to go to your favorite cafe or to find a new cafe and to sit down and have a coffee and to see life through a new lens, to meet people that you wouldn't otherwise meet, it's just a cup of coffee. It's just a nice coffee shop. It's so much more than that. And so then the quality of the intention that birthed that cafe and that cup of coffee and the culture of that company, of that brand, that then the person that you spoke to on the other side of the counter that took your order, all of that can be an intentional, conscious, deliberate creation. If you're resonating with this message and you want to explore this topic more deeply in a masterclass environment with me and a group of other creators, which is taking my experience over the last year and a half on YouTube and building my own personal brand, telling the story of my life, crafting a body of work that countless people, over 45,000 people now, in that short period of time have resonated with. And I've worked with hundreds of individuals from all over the world. And this translates into your own unique experience, your own unique creative expression, your own unique calling. So I want to help you bring that to the world in this very unique, aligned approach. So if you're interested in that, comment manifest down below and I'll send you more information about this. It's going to be starting in the next couple of weeks. There are going to be a limited number of spots because I want to make this an engaged workshop style masterclass where you can get a lot of value out of this. So if you're interested in joining this, comment manifest down below. I'll send you more information about it.